Hey there guys, and welcome back to another one of my YouTube videos. So much for staying on that 1 week grind, but work has just been super busy and I've had to prioritize that. And I know I said that in the last video, but guys, needs must. But we're back here now with another video, and this one is about 5 steps to help you get started with video editing. But be sure to stick around to the end because there's gonna be one little extra hot tip that's gonna help your editing workflow and get you editing so much quicker. So without further ado, cue that intro. Okay, so like I said, this is going to be 5 tips to help you get started with video editing. First tip, and I'm really going back to basics with this, and just an FYI, I edit with Adobe Premiere Pro. I'm sure this will follow along the same lines as Final Cut Pro, but sorry for you guys that don't edit with Premiere Pro. But as I said, I'm sure a lot of this will transfer over. So the first tip is very simple. Simply starting up the program and starting a new project. Okay, so as I said, the first step is creating a project, and to start off you need to open Premiere Pro. I have a quick shortcut here for my Premiere Pro, so we'll just wait a second. Okay, so now that Premiere Pro is opened, the first step is to create a new project, and that simply is clicking new project. Now for these settings I usually keep it at the same thing. So timecode, that stays as timecode, audio samples, and caption format I have it at HTV. Don't touch any of these, but what you might want to do is select where you want to save your project. I'm gonna go into my external hard drive, other video projects. I'm gonna create a folder and call this example edit project. Create, choose, name the project, example edit project, and go OK, and Premiere Pro will open. Now that you have your project all set up and ready to go, the next step is to create a sequence. So step number 2 is to create a sequence. So we're going to File, New, Sequence. This window will pop up, and as you can see, there's a lot of different selections, and that can be really overwhelming, which is totally understandable. So we go to DSLR, we'll go to 1080 at 25. Now I'm going to name this sequence. I'm going to just go example edit video. No, I won't go video. What will I go? Let's go example edit 1. Click OK. And that is your sequence created. As you can see, sequence goes into where your files will go over here on the left hand side. And then your timeline is created. And as I said, what's in here will view up here. So now you have 2 things set up. You have your project and your sequence. Your sequence is where you're going to edit your video, and it's going to be the timeline that you put all your footage on. But before you even get to do all that, you need to organize your footage and import it to the software. I cannot emphasize enough how important it is to organize your files and your footage. If you do this from the very start, it will help your workflow immensely. So I'm going to show you how to organize your footage, or at least how I organize my footage when I'm editing a project. Okay, so the next step, and I know I'm going to be repeating myself, but I cannot reiterate this enough. Organizing your footage will really help with your editing process and just make everything a lot more seamless and help with your workflow. So within the project folder that we created, I create folders for my footage, music, sound effects, and there might be a few other bits, maybe graphics and stuff like that, but in this instance I'm just going to have my footage, music, and sound effects. So once you have all your footage organized into folders, you can go into Premiere Pro and create a bin. For some reason Premiere Pro calls them bins instead of folders. You could name this the same name as these folders, but instead of doing that, just simply select your folders, drag and drop, and it will create everything automatically. All your footage here in the same folders that you had over here are here. So if you twirl that down, all your footage is there. Nice. We have footage, we have music, we have sound effects. So everything is nice and organized. I know exactly where everything is, and that's exactly how I like it. So the other thing I like to keep organized within my project is the effects tab. This is where you can add different effects and such to your footage whenever you've created your video. Just like your footage here is organized, you can keep it nice and organized in here too. So you can actually create, as you can see here, I have a favorites folder of transitions or effects that I use quite often. So yeah, that's just another really good tip for keeping your stuff organized. If you click down here, it'll create a folder, just name it, and then start picking things, constant gain, dragging and dropping. Just get whatever settings that you or effects that you use a lot, put them in that folder. Two very important things: keep your footage organized and keep your effects organized. This will really speed up your workflow because you won't have to go searching in all these different tabs. You'll have it all here nice and handy. Same when it goes to the footage. Okay, so now you have 3 things done. You have your project, your sequence, and your organization. Big thing, organization. The next thing is the meat and gravy of the whole thing, the edit. So you've created your sequence, which is where you're going to edit, and you have all your footage imported. So now it's just to start creating a small edit, which I'll show you. So let's get down to the nitty gritty, the meat and bones, the juicy part, the part that makes everything look pretty, and that's the edit. The next step is to just go through this little bit of footage. I'm going to edit something. I'm not going to go into too much detail on the editing process. If that's something that you want to see me do, then that's no problem. I'll do it in a separate video. That's its own video in itself. But for now, I'm just going to create a simple edit, and at the end, I'm just going to point out things that I did, but I'm just going to create a quick time lapse of me doing this edit. The reason this has popped up is because I film my footage usually at 60 frames per second. That allows me the flexibility of being able to slow it down in post if I want to slow it down. So if this comes up, just go keep existing settings and everything will be fine. What I forgot to say earlier, this is to do with organizing the footage. Some edits, when you need to nest some footage, create these new nested sequences. To keep stuff organized, I create a bin called nested sequences, and I just click them all and I drag them in. That just keeps everything organized. Again, in this particular project there was only one nested sequence, but some projects sometimes I nest a lot of different clips, and that creates a big long list of nested sequences. So just to keep them all in one place, I create a bin or a folder just to pop them in there, just so that a particular panel doesn't get overloaded with files and folders. I created this really quick edit. There's a song, a few clips, adjustment layer, which is how I do my color grading. Just a few little sound effects, just like crunching snow, camera, sound. That's it. Very simple, very simple edit. Just to show you guys, and I'm going to export it now. Okay, so you've created that project, that sequence, you have your footage all beautifully organized, you've created that tasty little edit that has a little bit of color grading, some sound effects, nice music, just a short little edit that you've thrown together. Now, time to export. So once you have your footage all edited, the next step is to export it. You go to the end of your video or your edit. I like to click just in once before clicking my out point because I don't want a black end screen. After you've got everything selected like that, your out point, go to File, Export, Media. The new box will come up. It usually has match source high bit rate, and with Premiere Pro it actually gives you like YouTube export settings, but I have a client export, or this is a preset that I have created for myself that I kind of default to that has particular settings, and I'll go through those settings now in a second. But what you need to do here in the output name, if you click the blue highlighted text, this will select where your video gets exported. So I'm going to navigate to that folder. I'm going to leave it out any folder, an example edit 1. I'm going to keep the name as that, or actually I'm going to add snow day and go save. You can see that's changed there, so that's where your file will be located. So with the settings for exporting. I'm going to go through them. Match source, this video is 1920 by 1080, that's right. Frame rate is 25, that's right. Field order is progressive, aspect, square pixels, TV standard PAL, we're in PAL here in Ireland. Render at maximum depth, and make sure that's ticked. Go to encoding software, software encoding, profile main level 4.1, don't touch any of those. Bitrate, I go to CBR, target bitrate a minimum of 14. I keep it there at 14, don't touch anything there. VR video, don't touch anything there. And here in the little bottom section, you go use maximum render quality, you tick that, don't have anything else ticked, and go frame sampling. And we're good to go. So you simply click export. So if you followed along with those 5 easy steps, you should have a video on your computer which you can now upload to YouTube, which is what I'll be doing after I've completed this video. But hopefully those tips were helpful and easy to follow and help you create something that you're proud of. I cannot emphasize enough that practice makes perfect. Go out there, film something, edit it, export it. Go film something again, edit it again, export it. Seriously. Practice makes perfect when it comes to video editing, and every time you do something you'll get better. I still look back at some of my older videos, and although I'm proud of them, I definitely look at them now and go, I could do this so much better at where I am now. So practice makes perfect. So I guess that's it for my video today. Oh wait, actually it's not, because I have one more tip to show you guys that will seriously help with your editing workflow. Now a lot of videos have been created about giving tips about improving your editing workflow, and the biggest one is keyboard shortcuts. Now everyone tells you to create keyboard shortcuts, but I'm going to show you some essential ones that I use when I'm editing, and it's helped me speed up my editing to no end. So I'm going to show you, this is top secret stuff now, so don't go telling everybody. But I'm going to show you the keyboard shortcuts that I use that will help you. So let's go, again, to Premiere Pro. The first keyboard shortcut is the ripple cut shortcut. Now there's ripple cut to the left and there's ripple cut to the right. So if you scrub through your footage and you pick a point, say here, you want a ripple cut to the left. Everything to the left of the playhead will delete and the footage to the right will actually shift to the left. So that's pressing Q. As you can see, everything to the left deleted, everything to the right shifted to the left. And the next is ripple cut to the right, which is just the opposite. If you want a ripple cut to the right, you'd press W. And as you can see, everything to the right of the playhead deletes, and the footage, in this case, it doesn't need to shift to the right, but the footage on the right of that shifts closer. The next keyboard shortcut is really handy when you're editing and you need to nest a piece of footage. Usually you would right click, scroll down, click nest, but I have it that you press Z. And that's your footage nested. Next one is scale to screen size, or scale to fit screen, I think it's called. I'm using this piece of drone footage that I have as an example. My sequence is 1920 by 1080, and this footage I think could be 2K, 4K, so it's actually too large to fit the 1920 by 1080 scale. So I need to scale that down so it fits the screen. What you usually do is right click, scroll down, scale to frame size, but instead I have it that you go Shift S and it scales the footage down to fit the screen. Okay, the next keyboard shortcut is really handy when you have a long edit or a long timeline. I'm going to use this other edit that we did earlier. If you press FN and the left arrow key, playhead will jump to the very start of your video or of your edit. And if you press FN and the right arrow key, it'll jump to the end of your footage. The next one is speed duration. Now, like the other ones, you could right click, scroll down, speed duration. But to make life easier and make things quicker, select your clip, Command R, and this speed duration window will pop up and you can change the speed of your clip here. This is where I make it slow or I make it fast. The next keyboard shortcut is comma. Now you can't see the other screen that I have, but I have a clip in my source panel, and instead of dragging and dropping the clip down using my mouse, I can simply press comma. It'll insert the clip on your timeline wherever your playhead is. So make sure that your playhead isn't in the middle of a clip, because if you press comma, it shoves it in there. So just make sure your playhead is where you want it, and it'll place that clip just there. Just makes things much quicker when you pick your in, your out point and you want to put that clip on the timeline. Another keyboard shortcut that's really handy is using the Alt key. Now the Alt key has two functions. One of them is to isolate a certain section of your clip. Say you wanted to isolate the footage, you would hold your Alt key and you'd click it. If you were to click that without pressing Alt, it selects both. So if you hold down the Alt key and press one of them, it'll highlight or isolate just that section. So you can pick the sound or the visuals. Maybe you don't want the sound, so you select just that and you delete it. But its other function is if you hold it down, click and isolate something, if you keep holding it down and drag and drop, it'll duplicate that section. Another handy shortcut that I implemented, if you press a clip and highlight it and you press K, wherever your playhead is, it'll cut that clip. What you'd usually do is you'd press C and you'd get your razor tool and you can pick places wherever you want to cut the clip. But instead I have it that I can play through my footage and go, okay, I want to cut that clip there. But as you can see, it doesn't cut the clip above or below, because sometimes I might just want to clip the visuals instead of anything else around it. But if I want to cut all three of those things, I'll go Command K. And as you can see, it'll cut everything wherever the playhead is. When using the K shortcut, you have to highlight the item that you want to cut. So I just want to cut the sound there, or cut the adjustment layer there, but it doesn't matter, nothing has to be highlighted for the Command K shortcut. And that's it. I have no more tips to share with you guys, but let's recap. Number 1, you create a project. Number 2, you create your sequence. Number 3, you organize your footage. Seriously guys. Number 4, the meat and bones, you create that edit, footage, music, sound effects, color grading, whatever you want, text, go crazy. And number 5, you export that video. And number 6, the hot tips are keyboard shortcuts. I'm going to leave a document actually down below that you can download with the keyboard shortcuts. Hopefully that will be helpful to you guys. But that's it. And of course, the extra tip that I haven't really said is upload it somewhere. Upload it to YouTube, to Facebook, to Twitter, to Instagram TV. There are so many places. Vimeo, let's not forget about Vimeo. There are so many places that you can upload your videos. And like I said, go out there, create something, and do it again. Just repeat the process. That's it for my video, you guys. If you liked it, click the like button, smash it. If that's what people do. Everyone says smash the like button, but just click it. Don't go breaking things. Comment down below if you liked it, or if you think I missed anything, or have any suggestions. That's pretty much it. Thanks for watching guys, and I hope to have a video again in a week. See you soon. Bye.